Good morning, this is Casner Mountain, and we're looking out in the red rock of Sycamore Canyon Wilderness Area. And it's a little breezy up here this morning, but nice scenery, so I'm going to see if I can stop here and talk a little anime.
Eden of the East.
Eden of the East is a recent contemporary mystery adventure anime series from creator-director Kenji Kamiyama. I'd been looking forward to it since Funimation announced the license. Saki, a young Japanese woman recently out of college, is on the last day of a vacation in America before she has to return to Japan and start looking for a job. She's spending that day taking a look at the White House, trying to toss a coin into the fountain. I think she's confusing it with Rome. And then a completely naked man suddenly appears. Apparently he's also Japanese. He's got nothing but a gun and a cell phone, and that attracts the police's attention. Yet he miraculously eludes them. He claims that he's lost his memory and has no idea how he got in front of the White House. An embarrassed Saki gives the man her coat to cover himself, and they go their separate ways. The young man finds that his cell phone is very special. It has the logo Noblesse Oblige on it, and it freely dispenses electronic payments for anything he wants. Most importantly, it comes with a helpful concierge, Jii, a voice on the phone who can arrange a lot more than show tickets and tours. Jii implies that the man erased his own memories and directs him to an apartment, per his prior instructions. There, he finds a lot of weapons and a pile of passports with many aliases. He picks the passport with the name Akira Takazawa on it, and that's what we'll call him for the rest of the show. Akira is beginning to wonder if he might be a terrorist, or maybe a spy. If only Akira could remember how he got this phone, or why Jii calls him Celestial number 9. Meanwhile, Saki has discovered that she carelessly left her passport and wallet in the coat that she gave Akira, and she's been chasing him down. So Saki's previously normal life suddenly becomes entangled with that of the mysterious Akira, which seems fine with her since she finds him strangely attractive. Akira and Saki fly back to Japan together. This is the setup for one of those conspiracy buddy pictures where a normal person gets caught up helping a mysterious stranger sort out a tangled web. Think Alfred Hitchcock, or 3 Days of the Condor, or The Bourne Identity, except this one gets a little wilder. What's with the magic phone? What are the Celestial? How many are there? Are they related to an event 3 months ago when 10 missiles were somehow launched into Japan's cities? Or are they related to the disappearance of several tens of thousands of NEETs? If the writer hangs those rifles on the wall, you better believe they're going to go off.
俺のジョニーが一種報いだ。
どうしたの？
さっき君が言ってた重たい空気ってさ、これのことかな。東京にミサイル攻撃。
Once they're back in Japan, Saki manages to drag some of her friends into the mystery too. They're a diverse lot of young entrepreneurs working on a new internet business. In addition to a few other Celestial, these friends round out the cast with a varied lot of characters. One of them is in love with Saki and is getting really jealous of Akira, the new guy in her life, and he's determined to unmask him for whatever the heck it is the mystery man really is. Eden of the East is occasionally a compelling mystery thriller, a series that lures the viewer to the next episode with a desire for answers, both immediate and long-term. Warning, its conclusion may not deliver all the answers you may want. Underlying the unusual story is a message about stirring Japan back to its post-war heyday of the 70s and 80s, when its industriousness, education, and technology were the envy of the world. Artistically, Eden of the East usually looks very good, as do most production IG projects. The fluid, human-drawn animation merges beautifully with the computer-assisted animation of planes, trains, and automobiles. The apparent movement of the virtual camera is both natural and restrained. The backgrounds include a lot of wear and grime, reflecting the real world, from peeling paint to rust and general clutter. Crowds seem to come and go, though. Washington, D.C. has heavy traffic at first, but then the street's empty, and Saki has the ellipse in front of the White House all to herself. Dulles Airport starts out crowded, but soon Saki and Akira have a concourse all to themselves. Obviously, the production staff visited the capital to scout locations, maybe at 3 a.m. I did have some complaints about the art, though. First, it often uses a cartoonish double-take expression. That's not uncommon in anime, but it's a first time for Kamiyama, and I thought he was trying for a more serious and realistic look for this series rather than cartoonish. I've never cared for the technique anyway. Secondly, there are a lot of naked men in this story, starting with Akira's bizarre first appearance. Someone, I presume Production IG, took care of censoring it for the necessary modesty required by television by placing animated white scratches that are far more distracting than a naked schlong, or Johnny as they keep calling it here. I never found a compelling story reason why these guys can't have clothes, but if the creators really thought total nudity was important, they should have just done it. And if they couldn't do it, they should have written around it. What they've actually done looks dumb.
And I'm naked. A cell phone? And a gun? The White House. I know what the White House is, and yet I don't have any idea of who I am. Hey! Over there! You okay?
Director Kenji Kamiyama's previous series, both the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex series and Morbido, were based on story concepts by others. Eden of the East is his first anime based on his own original concept. The serviceable background music is composed by veteran composer Kenji Kawai, who's done a lot of Production IG soundtracks. The score here is good at developing tension in the latter parts. The Japanese soundtrack has actual American voices for the occasional Washington, D.C. residents who speak English in the first episode, rather than relying on Japanese actors with Japanese accented voices as they did in the old days. I still cringe listening to the American disc jockey at the beginning of Bubblegum Crisis 7. Funimation's English dub comes off pretty well. I listened to it first and found the voices matched the characters and situations credibly. I did notice a few things were a little clearer from the subtitles when I rewatched the show in Japanese. Also, Jui's voice on the phone has more emotion in the Japanese version, which gives you a different take on that never-seen character. By the way, there's a lot of information and text messages on the various cell phones in this anime, and Funimation's done a pretty good job of subtitling them all legibly. Funimation's DVD has an interview with director Kamiyama and character designer Chika Umino. Apparently Umino values her privacy, so she does the interview hidden behind a large stuffed animal. It's not CTV. They only talk about the character designs, not the storyline, and I didn't find the interview very interesting. In addition to being available on DVD, the show is also currently streaming from Funimation's website. Okay, now I want to go a little deeper into the story, so beware of some spoilers ahead.
You didn't. His father.
By the middle of the series, we learn that Akira is one of 12 Seleção. No, not Brazilian soccer players. The Seleção were chosen from different walks of life by an eccentric Japanese billionaire in the hopes that one of them might have ideas to revive Japan. Each was given one of those noblesse oblige cell phones. The phone came with 10 billion yen and access to the concierge Juiz, who can do just about anything, from rushing you through a crowded airport to buying you a skyscraper. From assassination to politics, Juiz knows who to hire, bribe, blackmail, hack, or whatever. In return, the Seleção must compete to save Japan from its national malaise, a rather vague assignment. Whoever succeeds gets to live. Run out of money, you die. Some incentive program. Of the Seleção we meet in the anime, each comes from very different backgrounds and has quite different approaches to improving Japan. One decides to use the power of the phone to become a vigilante, a sort of Death Note approach, but he soon finds the power corrupts him. One takes a cue from the second Patlabor movie and decides it will take an external attack to reunify and reawaken Japan's spirit. Another simply works to create a small hospital that harnesses the power of Japan's forgotten aging citizens for the public welfare. One has the opposite idea, thinking it's the entitlement of the elderly and the unemployed who are weighing Japan down. And yet another has a cutting-edge personal approach to improve the Japanese gene pool. The story constantly reminds the viewer of noblesse oblige, the quaint old notion that those who have greatly benefited from society owe something back to their fellow man. Akira's own plan is hard to discern since even he doesn't know it anymore. It's so elaborate that it includes, apparently, setting events in motion and then erasing his memories. We're pretty sure it involves NEETs somehow, those young men who've dropped out of Japanese society and workforce. Akira believes that these are a vast, untapped resource that could energize Japan's renaissance if they had proper leadership and motivation. Interestingly, there don't seem to be any female NEETs in this world. The series ending dramatically resolves one storyline, but it doesn't finish the Selisao story. There are things we've learned and ideas have been explored, but it wouldn't be reasonable to solve all of Japan's problems in 11 episodes of an anime, would it? The story is left both open-ended and a little vague. While that's frustrating within the usual anime framework in which some villain is slain and the hero is proclaimed, I think it's appropriate for a story that's grappling with serious real-world problems. As Schmendrick says, there are no happy endings because nothing ever ends. Besides, it leaves room for some sequel movies. I give Eden of the East 4 stars. It's a solid, engaging conspiracy mystery that stands on its own that way, and it manages to entertain while tossing a lot of ideas out on the side. Not all of that fits easily into the chosen anime structure. Visually, it seems pitched at a lower age than Kamiyama's previous series, which I think is a mistake for its often sophisticated topics. It doesn't completely succeed at what it tries, but it's a noble effort.
Thanks for watching.